Erik Carlson tonight, bringing the paranormal into the light. Feel something scratch you on the skin. The cat ball readers go off again. He's heard the static, heard the sound of history buried in the ground. Bigfoot fades, leads the way. The investigation starts today.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Today we have my friend Erik Carlson, who is a paranormal investigator in the Pacific Northwest with over 10 years experience and some really cool locations. We're going to talk about his journey and how he got started. Let's welcome Erik, everybody.
Hey, what's going on?
Hello. Good. How are you doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
Great.
I appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for being on. I love your lights.
Thank you. Yeah, that's my little fun corner in the back with all the fun jellyfish and space guys and black light. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, if you want to get started, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So originally from California. I've been doing paranormal investigating for 10 plus years. Some of popular locations I've been to: Preston Castle, Clown Motel, Goldfield, Washoe Club. A lot of those locations I've always worked with mediums going there. My sister's mother-in-law, Jackie, she is a medium, and she's the one that really got me into the paranormal realm of investigating and really kind of adapting to what's in your surroundings and using the equipment. And that's kind of the realm that I've gotten into. Is I'm more into the let's document, let's sit there and communicate and document type realm. I love using equipment and scientific equipment to break that realm of what we really don't know what's there.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know I've gotten to talk to you a bit before because we're actually friends, and you have a lot of really cool stories. So I wanted to share those stories on here because I know you personally. And yeah, you have a few locations that are pretty awesome. Did you want to start with talking about that? I'm really interested in the Clown Motel.
Oh, yeah. So the Clown Motel, which sits also kind of outside of Goldfield, where you've had the Goldfield High School and the Goldfield Hotel as well, which are kind of known for great paranormal locations. The Clown Motel, the lobby itself is where we picked up quite a few EVPs and EMF spikes, electromagnetic field spikes, when we've had a baseline. A lot of it were around a few dolls. We didn't catch any actual movements. We did go into a couple rooms that were noted to be pretty active. I stayed there for about 3 days myself in the Clown Motel. The room itself was, I have to admit, pretty freaky. Don't get me wrong. It was kind of hard to go to sleep at times. I personally had my room set up with cameras and REM pods and digital recorders, and I caught a few things, kind of like some footsteps, maybe a whisper. When we did some full investigations, we got some cat ball movement on the counter in a few of the rooms. What I think was the most active for us was the cemetery right next door to it. We captured a couple shadow figures that was mapped on the SLS. Our IR camera actually picked up a shadow figure behind the gravestone, just kind of forming above it and dissipating. And the SLS also picked up the same thing. Fascinating footage. It was just really great experience going out there. Highly recommend it.
Was that something that they had like invited you out, or you just happened to be staying there?
Well, so the medium that I was working with down in California, Jackie, she also has a lot of friends that are docents. The Preston Castle is one of the places that I've got to go to quite a few times. They were the ones that kind of form a group and were out there taking people and inviting me to these locations. The Preston Castle is one of the locations where I've actually, I believe, had an entity enter through me, and we recorded it with EMF readings, starting from my feet, going all the way up through my head, recording an EMF spike going up all the way through me as I'm feeling like electromagnetic field, like a battery. I'm tingling, and it's being documented. It was one of the most intense feelings I've ever gone through.
Did you have any feelings like the next day, like a hangover from that?
I don't really experience energy drains. I think the couple times that I've been marked or scratched, I've kind of had more of emotional hangover, where it's more of an angry or more an upset or irritated feeling the next day. But I can't really say for something that's actually drained my personal energy to where I've had that hangover effect. But I've worked with people that have communicated in front of me, and we've documented it, and they drop. I mean, they get so weak sometimes, depending on the interaction. They can't help but kind of go, give me a minute. I need to recoup for a second.
That makes sense. What's probably one of your favorite investigations you've done so far?
Probably the one that when I came up here, my wife Elaine kind of just threw me out in the realm on Facebook to say, hey, my husband's a paranormal investigator. What do you got for me? And I had a family reach out to me and said, hey, I don't know if you investigate objects. And this was a mask that was sent to me that was in their home. And I kind of, when I first looked at the mask, I just was taken back by it. And I just went, what's going on? It piqued my interest right away. And I think I shared a picture of the mask with you if you have that. It's one of the things that really kind of opened up my realm of paranormal investigating up here in Oregon, was this case here.
Was it this one?
That's it right there. That's the mask. Yeah. So that was sent to me through Facebook, and I never met this lady. And she said, hey, this mask is in my house. We've had some crazy things going on. Can you come out and take a look at this? Yeah. And so after having a conversation with her, I went, we need to go investigate what's going on. She has 2 little kids, and they were seeing things such as shadow figures, and they had lights go out in the entire house at once. The entire house went black and then came back on. They've had their dogs bark straight to the north at 10 o'clock, like clockwork, once a week. And they don't know what they're barking at. They sit on 10 acres out in Hillsboro, and they put up trail cams, and they captured 3 orange orbs or lights about shoulder length height in their forest, just moving very slowly across the tree line, just below the tree line. And they couldn't explain what it was at that point either. And when we came out there, I went and investigated with a team, a husband and wife team that I haven't worked with before. And I brought them onto this case. And when I wanted to bring a medium on, I interviewed about 6 mediums, and I showed them this mask. And 5 out of the 6 said, I will not touch this case. There is so much dark energy associated with this place, with this mask. And so I finally got one medium who said, yeah, I think I can help you out. Let's give it a shot. And when she came out and we investigated, it was like she said, there's a portal here. There's something ancient here. there were spirits trapped in the house here. And at that point, when we arrived, the wife pulled us aside and said that 2 weeks prior to our investigation, she went up to the apartment above their garage and attempted suicide. And she did it by pills. And this is a woman who went after pills that she had after a pregnancy 3 or 4 years ago. And she said there was something so dark and oppressive with her that she pulled herself from the family, and she was living upstairs 2 weeks prior to that.
Wow.
Her husband had no idea what caused her to do that. So when we started our investigation, she just dropped that bombshell on us, and we went, wow, we're happy you're here. Thank God, but she really wanted us to continue with that. And we investigated the mask, and we got some pretty high EMF spikes on that. We were asked to destroy the mask and get rid of it after our investigation. The wife asked that of us. And 2 of the colleagues that I brought on said they would take care of that. So the crazy part is that when we went up to the apartment above the garage where their wife attempted her suicide, is where we caught some of the most craziest SLS interactions with the spirit that I've had in years to come. I also brought that video over for you to pull up as well. It is probably one of the best documentations I've had, given to the fact that the way it manifests and the interaction it has with the investigator, and the fact that how long it stays there. A lot of SLSs, that's it right there. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to play it now.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you're seeing here is all investigators in the bedroom above the garage, the apartment. You saw the SOS mapping them as they were moving.
At this point, I'm getting ready to leave the room because we have not captured anything. And at this point, I am holding the SLS, and I start to pick up a figure on the door. And if you look at the height of that, you take it from the bedpost up to the top of the door, you're looking at maybe 3 to 4 feet, right? So it's a small figure that we're dealing with on that door. If you look at its arms and its legs, it's almost kind of like doing the Spider-Man hold against the wall, where it's holding itself up like, you can't see me, don't look here. And then if you look at its head, it starts looking around the corner like, who's out there? To me, this is just, it's really fascinating on the fact that the interaction on how quickly it goes back from one angle, there it is on its side, and now we're mapping possibly a second entity, because now we have an investigator out in the hallway, and you see how it's still there and it's looking around the corner. And now we have a second entity. This one is doing almost the same thing on the other side of the door. And what I love about this as well is just the interaction. You just saw an investigator come in, right? And that one entity jumped off and said, I'm out of here. This guy, he's still hanging around. He's looking, going, what is happening here? I call over an investigator, not letting her know what's going on, and said, put your hand out. She puts her hand out. Now look at this. The elbow is bent and it is touching her hand. As I'm asking her to put her hand out, she says, it is freezing cold right now. And we record a 10-degree temperature difference, an EMF spike of 10, while she is being touched right now by the entity. Look how it's bending over. And as she walks in, it says, nope, I'm gone. And what I really like about the SLS footage here, I'm still recording and I'm still scanning the room. There's people still out there. There's people behind me. It's not mapping up anything. It's gone.
Wow.
That is phenomenal footage. it was interaction. It was documented. And it kind of corroborated with some of our stories that was told for that house as well. As of now, I mean, they've reported a few things still moving around. We were able to close a few portals on the property and move some spirits on. On the first investigation, when we were asked to have that mask removed, the husband took it out of their bag and said, "This belongs here," and hung it back up on the wall, and then just walked right upstairs past everybody. And
Wow.
the wife went back out and got him and said, "Hey, what was that?" and brought him back down. And he just said, "This mask belongs here. I don't want you guys to take it." End of story. And he was adamant. And we didn't push it because that's not our thing to do. But it's still sitting there to this day in their house, facing the north, where the dogs bark. And it's an ongoing case. We've been out there twice, and we've picked up amazing things out there. I have to say that's probably been one of my most exciting investigations, being up here as well.
Did they find, I think I remember you saying something about a burial ground.
Not a burial ground. They had a Native American tribe about 20 miles east of there that was actually almost wiped out by chickenpox from what the owners provided us. And they believed that something being tied to the land may be elemental. And it could be something ancient and really, really old. That's because they're also clearing some of that 10 acres too. They're clearing wood and forest. So they're changing the actual environment. If there's an elemental there, that's something, in my opinion, you can't get rid of. That's something that is just bound and ancient and very, very powerful. You don't tend to want to piss those things off, and you want to kind of bend your life around their rules, whether it be you moving off their land or understanding what it is that they're trying to tell you,
And Jilly has a question. She says, "That looks like something I've seen in NOLA. Do you know what that means?"
No, I don't.
NOLA. I'm not sure what that means. And then
When
Dawn asked, go ahead.
No, when I first looked at that mask, and I'm not an intuitive and I don't have, abilities or anything along those lines. I just thought voodoo and ancient. Like, that's the first thing that came to my mind was, something voodoo and ancient. And we did determine it was handmade. There was a year on the back, and also it looked like somebody etched in a signature on it as well. So, and what was even creepier was when they moved into the house 3 years ago, there was a note from the previous owner that said, "Good luck with that. Don't take this down." And they're referring to the mask. And those owners were there for about 8 years. When our team reached out to those owners that sold it to our clients, they said that mask was already there when they moved in. So there's history that goes along with that mask. The house was, I think, dated back to 72. So it's nothing that's really, really that old. But, something 50 plus years old is going to have some history on it. But the land itself, I'm sure, has some history for sure. That's not recorded on our modern day recording,
And Dawn asked, do you know what the material it was made out of on the mask?
Yeah, so it looked like a husk of some kind for the hair, clay mixture for the body. The eyes, we couldn't determine if it was a stone or if it was a glass kind of bead, a black glass bead. You can pull the picture back up if you want, but it was definitely unique. It was definitely, there's some intent behind it when it was made. But the purpose of it, our mediums, when I was trying to interview them, I gave them a picture of this, and then I also gave them a picture, and I gave you a picture of the house as well. And it was something that was kind of like, tell me about this picture. Tell me what you get when you see this, And I already knew the backstory. I already knew what was kind of happening. So that was our second investigation bringing a medium out was we already investigated once. We had some crazy shit go down. And now we want to close or cleanse what we can. I'm bringing a medium who can do that. And it was pretty crazy stuff. I mean, we documented EMF spikes off the charts. We had
Jilly said the mask is older than that. I could read that. She's a medium.
Yeah, we're not sure exactly because, like I said, it was etched in, and that could have been put in after the fact. I'm not going to say what year was etched in there, but it looked like it was etched in on a year. I'd love to see if anybody can pick up on what year. That would be really cool. But there was a year that was etched in there, and there's also a name. We could not have it made out. We had its AI kind of see if they could translate it or if they could pick up letters or characters that made a name. We couldn't get anything that made sense. So it looked like scribble, but a lot of signatures could be hard to read, especially in a clay material.
Wow, there's a lot with that investigation, huh?
Yeah, there's a lot going on. And that one just kind of started a lot of things off for me. After that, the medium I was working with, my wife and I went to Paracon convention down on Seaside last year. And she introduced me to someone who's also a paranormal investigator and a director and just really cool guy that's into a lot of paranormal stuff. And I started talking to him, and he's the one that got me talking about what he's into, what is called Parasense. And Ross Allen, he's with A Ghost Productions. He is kind of the creator of this documentary that's on Amazon, also on Tubi. And the kind of process in this and thought behind this is that we want to prove, or they want to prove touch. They want to sit there and have the ability to understand how is it manifesting and what is it we're feeling. So when somebody gets scratched, what type of energy is being outputted? What is in the room? What temperature changes? These guys, check out Parasense, the first one. It's a documentary, and it takes the scientific realm to a whole new level. These guys are using equipment I've never even heard of. And when I was brought on to Parasense 2.0, I got to see it firsthand. I've never seen anything like it before. It's nothing what you see on TV shows. It blew my mind. So with talking with Ross, he was sitting there saying, hey, we're still filming for Parasense 2.0. How would you like to be a subject and part of it? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's get this going, So part of the thing with Parasense is that with proving touch, we're limited when we're clothed, when we do investigations. We get scratched through our shirts, necks, arms, but we are clothed. So how much are we actually missing when it comes to touch? So the idea for them is to use subjects completely nude to do these experiments. So I was asked to be a subject in Parasense 2.0. And yes, it was a completely nude setting for this investigation. It was such a unique situation and such a unique thing I've never thought I'd ever be a part of. It's a full film crew. It's straight up, producer, director. They set up the room for the investigation and the experiment, and they bring out a bunch of subjects, and you have your time in there. And then they document and record it. And was something that, check out the first one. And we're in the middle of filming 2.0 right now. We're looking for locations as well. So it's going to be exciting when it comes together. But I just wanted to say that it is very unique, I think, groundbreaking documentary that's going to be coming out.
Are you allowed to talk about if you've ever had any experiences with scratches on yourself?
Well, nothing with Parasense 2.0. I can't disclose locations or what I went what experiences I went through. I did have experiences. Um, Other locations, I have been scratched. Washoe Club in Virginia City, very active place. We had scratches on my neck on my very first investigation, um, which is kind of pretty much what you see and hear everybody talking about. It's a manifestation of a burning sensation. It lasts for me about 3 to 4 minutes, and the scratch lasted all night, and it faded come morning. But it was something that was recorded as it was getting redder and more red. So that was an interesting experience as well. That was my one and only time being scratched.
Do you feel like, as far as sensation and being touched or scratched, like the average person might be having these experiences, or have you mostly heard paranormal investigators having these?
No, I think personally that if you have something going on at home and it has either evil intent, negative intent, you don't have to be looking for it. They could be looking to get your attention or just to harm you, depending on what's there. Not every entity is evil, in my opinion. Not everything, in my opinion, is out to hurt you or harm you. There are a lot of different beliefs. As an independent investigator, I am very, very open to new approaches, new ideas, to just document and communicate with a realm that, we don't really know much about. My theory is that I believe in vibration. I believe in a lot of energy output. I believe spirits are at a frequency a lot lower than what we're at because we're alive and we're kicking and moving. I believe in using a lot of intuitive and mediums. I think the right ones for the right cases can bring on situations for great documentation, such as alerting you if there's someone here, alerting you if they can pick up if it's a male or female presence. That can help you answer or ask questions using REM pods. Just recently being up here, I had a mother-daughter team actually join me on an investigation at the Barton Antique Museum. And we captured some great SLS stuff there too with the mom, who is kind of like a little flashlight. She's got a beacon of light, and she's working on with some Reiki work to kind of get that light where she can control it more. And her daughter, her name's Beth, and her daughter Abby joined me on this investigation at Barton Antique Museum. And we caught a figure that was interacting with mom, Beth. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was phenomenal. And the SLS figure was actually trying to either pet or console Beth's head. At one point was trying to hug her as well. Beth could not see the entity. We're looking at it right there. And she's like, I'm starting to feel sad. And you can see the entity almost put its arm around her. Fascinating stuff. You should show the video. It's really, really cool.
Okay, I want to show that. And before I do, I just want to get this question asked real quick. Was the SLS footage observed in real time or reviewed later? Sorry if this was already explained.
That was all in real time. So when I asked, if you notice in the video, you'll see a lady from the distance, one of my investigators. I just asked her if she can come into the room. And so I'm witnessing this entity on the door on my SLS, but I'm looking at the door and not seeing anything. She puts her hand out, and at that point, she's like, oh my God, it's freezing cold right here. And I'm mapping and in real time watching and recording this entity bend its elbow and touch her hand. And it goes on for a good 5 seconds. And we record on her trimeter a temperature drop of almost 10 degrees. It was about 7.2 degree drop.
And yeah, that kind of goes into the other question. Does Eric use an SLS camera or an app on his phone? Paul asked.
Yeah, full SLS camera. There are a few apps that I've used for kind of a spirit box that I believe works a little bit, because I believe it puts out a good frequency that I've had some good luck with when I'm asking questions. But no, I use a full SLS. I'm not using a app or anything. It's a full SLS camera.
Okay. And then here's the video. Did you want me to play it now?
Yeah, yeah. I'll kind of go over a little bit what's going on in the picture. Sorry, it's a little junky. It was trying to capture a couple people at the same time. I was actually training people that night. I've never done that before. So these were all rookies with me, and I loved it because, but when I'm usually investigating, I have other investigators that know, okay, they got chest cameras, they got, they just know what they're doing and they know where to go and how to operate, where I'm telling them, okay, these are the questions, stand over here, hold the mic this way, so there was, bear with me. I promise it looks a lot better, but there'll be a couple jumbo moments there.
Okay, I'm gonna play it, and yeah, this one's really exciting. I cleaned it up just a little bit before yeah. So let me see. Here we go.
Yeah, and I'm watching this in raw and live time. So this is Beth right here. She's the one that I believe, and she believes as well. She has some energy. Her daughter is an entity I believe we're mapping. Her daughter is a little bit over to the left, trying to do communication with the spirit box. This entity here, I don't know if the volume comes through or not, but I'm asking if it can put its hand on her head. No. Okay.
Yeah, the volume's there.
Okay.
I just muted my mic.
Oh. So at some point I'm asking the entity if it can put its hand up, and there it goes, raises its hand right there. And at one point I asked Beth if she could put her hand up, and the entity raises its hand to match her hand. Yeah. And I think it keeps looking around the corner because Abby's talking. And again, what is great about this is you can see the movement of the body as it was starting to tilt. Oh, it went away. You there? Hello. I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, sometimes StreamYard will like kick the thing off of the screen. That wasn't me.
No worries.
I kept thinking it was like my guest doing it the other day, and I was like, "Oh, that's gotta be like StreamYard doing it." So, okay, we were right here.
Oh no, that's the old one.
It keeps playing this one. Okay, sorry, 1 second. Operator error.
No worries.
I think it makes the show more fun when there's like little errors here and there.
It's
Like,
true and real. That's what life's about.
Yeah, it's like, wait, it's real people. Okay, here we go. And then where were we? Like, kind of right here.
Yeah. Are you able to get any of that sound at all?
I can hear it. Guess, can you hear the video in chat?
It's kind of, I can't hear it, but. So here I'm asking Beth to raise her hand, and there's the breakaway for a second. I promise I'm coming back. Sorry about that. I was answering a question. But at the same time, you can see right there, there's nothing behind there for that to be mapping, like a coat rack or anything. Like that goes straight back to the wall. And you can see it bending towards Beth as she's raising her hand. You can see its hand is trying to reach up towards hers. And at some point in the audio, I asked, can you tap or can you put your hand on her head? And you will see it reach out and put its hand on her head. And then she starts to say, I'm feeling sad. And then you can see the entity kind of put its arms around her. It was just fascinating stuff. It was a really great, and we'll welcome back there. I actually am looking forward to going to that, to there again. And what's even crazier is I just got a family that just called me up. I'm going on an investigation this Thursday, this week.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't say much about it because of the situation, but I'm bringing Beth and Abby and my medium in, and we're going to investigate Thursday night to figure out what is happening with this house, because there are some crazy things going on that I can't say just because of their situation. But afterwards, I will be more than happy to share the investigation with you, with what's going on with that. But yeah, this Thursday, I'm doing an investigation for a family that should be very, very interesting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try 1 second. I think I remember. Let me see if you can hear it now.
It's a lift.
There you go.
There you go. I remember figuring this out like with Tex actually. Thank you, Tex.
Oh, nice.
You touching Beth's head right now?
Yeah, see how its hand is going right on top of her head?
Can you put both arms up? There's one arm just went up. Is here. Who's here?
And again, with the SLS, the fact that you're able to still map an entity for this amount of time, if you kind of watch a lot of the shows when they bring on SLS cameras, you're getting maybe 15 seconds, 30 seconds. For me, and that's what I've gotten in the past too. For me, this is just phenomenal interaction with a figure that I believe is intelligently interacting with one of our investigators, Beth, right here. The fact that I think it's looking around the,
you need help?
There, like right there, and she's just, I mean, she's just chilling right there, and it's just right in front of her, and it keeps reaching above her, and you can see both hands. Look, both hands above her, like it's putting her hands over like this over her, and now it's like almost kissing her head.
Can you put one of your hands up, Beth? Whatever hands you feel comfortable moving up.
And I wanted to see if the entity would interact with her hand, and you can see it's trying to reach up. The top part of its hand is going up.
I mean, I'm really cold, but I don't, because it's cold up here, but like my fingertips are frozen. But I have gloves on.
Can you take some steps back?
And then I asked Beth to step out of frame to see if the look how big that entity is now.
Look at that.
And there's nothing there in the backdrop. If you can see, you can go see straight back to the wall, and that's 20 feet back. And look, it's still leaning towards Beth.
What do you feel?
I feel like I really want to cry.
Oh gosh,
No.
I was just about to give her a hug. When they cut away.
I'll put it back on there. It was StreamYard that did that. I feel like it has like a little timer. 1 second.
Yeah, and that's what I love is, I mean, we're in this pitch black, second floor antique mall, and we're capturing this stuff, and it's just, and to have, people for the first time experiencing this and seeing this, it was really, really fun.
Did she feel it? Paul wants to know if she felt it.
She said she felt really cold, like super, super cold in front of her. So she at one point said it was like, she can hear on the camera say it feels really cold. But she's like,
so where's it hug her at? Right here?
That's why I just said it's hugging you. Right before that, she says, I feel sad. And then after that, it leans in, and you can kind of see both hands kind of go around her.
Now I want to cry.
Let's see, right after that way, and I come back.
Like I really just want to cry, and I feel like I need a hug.
Yeah, and you can see the distance, and there it goes right into her.
Whoa.
I mean, it's like going into her, and you can see the distance. Look how tall it is now. And she's going to put her arm down, and then she's going to say, I feel sad or cold. I can't remember which.
Dang. Did she say like what she felt, like if it was male, female, age, anything?
She couldn't, not to me. She didn't say anything to me. Not saying that she didn't or did. I'm really excited for her. She's on a journey to kind of hone in those skills. I was actually chatting with her today. She was the one that helped me provide some of that info for you guys. And it was really cool to see her taking steps with Reiki to help, one, open up other channels for her energy path, and help explore that paranormal side or that other side that I think she's a flashlight and a beacon for, personally.
That's awesome. What kind of tools? So the SLS camera, tell me about that for somebody that doesn't know, like how much they cost, where do you get them? Are they difficult for
Oh
just the
yeah,
average person?
I mean they're not hard to get. I mean, you can get them anywhere. Mine's an older model, but they're based on kind of a laser mapping grid. Mine uses an Xbox camera, so all the video games that have the motion sensors, that's kind of what's being shot out into the room right there. The SLS then takes that information like it would for a video game and put this on the screen. Well, it's putting it on a little screen for me, except I have filters on this screen. I can then go to an IR, standard, black and white. All these spectrums helps maybe map the entity a little bit better when we're recording it. And so the idea is, now that we have a laser grid out in the field, right in front of us, however far it goes out, the idea is it's supposed to map anything that is moving, living, walking in front of us. So that's why you see it mapping an investigator like it did on my video. So when it captures something that looks like a human figure and there's nobody standing there, what is it? What is the science? What is it mapping? Is it mapping energy? Is it mapping motion? Why is it mapping something that I visibly can't see, but the laser grid can? And that's a scientific part that I love working with, is that audio wise, digital recorders picks up things and frequencies our ears can't hear, you know, disembodied voices, IR cameras, multi-spectrum cameras where you're using ultraviolet, standard, and IR all at the same time. I've captured great energy orbs with multi-spectrum cameras, and even standard flash Polaroid cameras. You can get great images with that too. So I use REM pods, digital recorders, my SLS camera. I use a spirit box, SB7 spirit box, and I use mediums and intuitives. I've tried to on almost every investigation. I am big into kind of protecting yourself before you go. I'm big into bubbling up myself with energy. And I just believe that if you have the opportunity to work with somebody who's an intuitive, that it, one, helps protect the group. And it also, I believe, brings out more documentation for you if that's your goal, is to document and communicate. So, and if you're trying to help a family, obviously try and find somebody that's can help spirits move on or close a portal, things like that. I never charge for investigation ever. It's a hobby. It's a passion for mine. I don't work with anybody that charges for investigations, whether it be mediums or intuitives. Being an independent investigator, that's a great luxury, is I can pick and choose if you want to go an investigation with me or not. And that's kind of my vibe. That's what I like to do, is like, I want to help the people, and there's no cost to it. There shouldn't be, but it's a passion of mine. So.
That's awesome. And that kind of answers MSM's question. Do you worry about these things following you home? Seems innocuous, but who really knows? And I think you and I have talked before about like Reiki.
Yeah. So my wife is, I love her to death. She just does not want anything bad coming home. Yeah. And I don't either. And a lot of it is she doesn't understand it, so she doesn't want to know about it. And I have to respect that. Not everybody is into this realm. Not everybody has the same beliefs. And that's what's so great, is that, we can have that openness and have that discussion, just like how I bubble up and how I sage my equipment before an investigation. I have personal techniques that I have developed to help kind of put an energy shield around me from head to toe. Every time I do an investigation, I always put my intent out with the group of what we're trying to do, and that's always to communicate and document. I sage my equipment before I come home. I keep my equipment in the garage. It does not come in the house unless I'm ready to prep for it and I feel that I can bring it in. And then I kind of just, do my due diligence. I do a lot of research on the property. I ask the right questions from the people that are asking me to come investigate. I want to make sure my team or the people and myself I bring out aren't bringing home entities and attachments to where they're having the problems that we need to go get them help.
That's
That's not
awesome.
here to do. So, and that's why I believe a lot of the mediums, when that mass case turned me down, they said, this is too powerful for me. I need at least another medium to come with me, or I won't even touch this. I had a few of them say, whatever is there is already looking at my spirit guide animal or my spirit guide and telling they can see me. They're like, that entity is seeing me right now, whatever's there. So it was, it was very, very powerful stuff, and I take it very serious. But at the same time, I also, if I'm trying to teach somebody that's never done this, like I did the other time, and it was a lot of fun. It was for first investigation, they caught some crazy stuff, because I've been on a lot of investigations where you spend 4 hours in the cold and you don't get a lot of anything. So
Yeah, and
it's not all the time asking them to perform for us, so.
And my mind, I'm like, what can I do with this technology? And I've asked you before, about like Bigfoot, and I think you were the first one to tell me Bigfoot was in that cryptid family. So my question for you next is, have you ever tried to go out in the forest and see if you can capture any cryptid orbs, paranormal out in the forest?
I want to go squashing bad. I mean, especially being up here in Oregon. Only reason because, my belief with this, and this is just my opinions, and there's so many out there, is him being cryptid is he's an interdimensional being. I believe that species is built in with a vocal range that can open portals or close portals with their vocal cords. I believe they're also very elusive. That's why we don't see them. But we've also have a lot of things we can't explain that a lot of people have seen and captured. I just think it's such a fascinating realm, because there are so many beliefs, and there are so many regions throughout our world that have creatures along the same lines, the Yeti, in Russia and things like that. But they all kind of follow that same huge, hairy, beast-like, upright walking mammal, so it's really fast. Yeah.
If there was like one piece of equipment that you could invent that would connect a little bit closer this world to that world, what would you like to have?
So that's part of the reasoning why I'm really excited to be with Parasense 2.0 is the technology side of it. My personal belief, and what I really hope to achieve in my lifetime, is I believe we're just at a frequency gap between the living and the dead. And what I mean by the dead is whatever realm or dimension that they're in, some of them are able to cross over into ours or get close enough to our frequency, vibe, and level to get there. And I would love to be able to invent glasses that bring us within frequency range to see each other, and then figure out how do we vocalize. I mean, I know we can have communications right now. We've picked up intelligent responses. We've had people do it, but being able to actually see something manifest and actually see what their energy looks like, because we're at the same frequency level or close enough to it, that I think would be an invention I would love to see in my lifetime.
That's awesome. And then Paul's the one that I told you about, my friend that has his paranormal channel, and I'd really love to see you two connect. He says, how far does Erik travel to do investigation? He's in Missouri, so he's probably like, come on over, man, we gotta hang out.
For the right travel fee, I'll go travel anywhere. No, but I mean, for the right case, I really would love to travel. I'm working on, being a Mason right now. I'm on my first degree. And I think with a lot of avenues and doors coming in with that is the history and access to some of the historical sites that a lot of people won't have. And that's what I'm really looking forward to, is expanding my horizons with different locations and really being able to document, whether it be poltergeists, spirit manifestations, disembodied voices, that's really kind of my realm that I'm into and that I'm really excited to explore is to the documentation of it.
That's awesome. And are there any other locations that we haven't talked about? I think you were saying Goldfield, Preston Castle. What about the saloon? Am I saying that right? The Washoe
Oh,
Saloon.
the Washoe Club. Yeah, Washoe Club Saloon. That one is active all the time. My medium friend Jackie, she can walk into that place and she can pick up the best EVPs. She electro voice phenomenon, disembodied voices. They almost recognize her because she's been a regular there so often, and she's an intuitive medium. And we would sit down and use trigger objects like poker cards or naked women poker cards. And we got a guy saying, Jack looks nice, like the Jack of clubs, and it's a topless girl on there. Or she would ask, which one is your favorite? And she'd lay out 4 cards and we'd get a voice that says that Queen of Hearts looks good. Almost a full sentence, so she is definitely a beacon and somebody I'd love working with, and truly miss working with. And the Washoe Club, it's hit and miss. I've had some eerie, creepy stuff that I've gotten there, just feeling wise, but it is definitely active. It is one place that I think a lot of investigators should go check out in Virginia City. If you get a chance to go do a night investigation, I would jump on it. You won't be disappointed, whether it be from orbs, footsteps like boots, disembodied voices, shuffling, things dropping. It's 3 stories. It's an active place.
That's awesome. Do you ever, without saying like what you do for work, do you ever go into like locations and you just pick up on something and you're not there to investigate, you're just there for another reason?
Yeah. So I'm in sales and I work with a lot of homeowners and sometimes I work with a lot of commercial developers. And one place I went into was a movie theater, a really, really old movie theater. And when I walked in there, I got goosebumps on the back of my neck. And that's not true. I do pick up on things a little bit. There's a place in town, another business that wants me to investigate this year. And when I did an initial walkthrough, I went in the basement and it was just cold chills and I just felt uncomfortable, like somebody was watching me. And I said, yeah, I want to come investigate here. Oh, my light went out. Oh no, there it goes.
It's okay.
Yeah, so it was, yeah, I would say there's a few places you walk into and I get some heebie-jeebies for sure.
Do you feel like everyone has like the abilities like for medium, psychic, paranormal, like to pick up on that? Do you feel like it's certain people? What are your thoughts on that?
I think certain people are blessed or cursed, because I've been told it's both, that a certain part of their brain is maybe open, that for whatever reason has been open to them. I think we all have that section in our brain. It's just not unlocked. I think some of us need to be trained to have it unlocked, where some people may be born with that ability. My personal experience, I've noticed a lot of females seem to have more of that intuitive, medium, psychic ability. My personal belief is, I believe because women have the bond of being able to give life and birth and create life, and I know they need males for that as well, but I personally believe that unlocks a little bit something in the female brain that sometimes allows you to have that ability, or more than I have worked with men. I've worked with men that have psychic abilities 100%. I'm just saying, in my experience over the 10 years, it's been dominantly women who've had that light or that aura or that intuitiveness to speak or see the other side.
Yeah, I've always kind of found that fascinating because, I know you and I have talked a little bit about that, where I've had stuff kind of my whole life that felt paranormal. And sometimes I kind of stopped telling people about it because they just didn't understand. And even I didn't understand. And sometimes you don't understand till afterwards. So it's hard to say, what level you're at, I guess. And then also what to do with those abilities, how to how to make them, stronger, or if you're just born with your level of strength. I always kind of find that fascinating.
Yeah, and I am all about people reaching into getting into Reiki and understanding their abilities of how to manage the energy output. Because I mean, everybody has an energy output. Everybody, in my belief, has an aura output. And I think if you have that ability to see things, hear things, or pick up on things that other people can't, you really need to learn how to manage that. Be able to close yourself off to if you have spirits coming to you because you're a flashlight. And I just, if you feel you have that ability, research how to protect yourself, research how to channel it, research how to open up different avenues, because if it's there, let's access it. Let's use it. Let's figure out a way on how to control it and use it for whatever way you want to use it for.
I love that. And if somebody's house is like haunted, what do you think is the first thing that they should do?
I'm always about documentation. So I would have them get little baby monitors. You can get cheap ones, link it to your phone, and see if you capture orbs, see if you capture moving things, see if you capture cupboards or lights turning on and off and you can't explain it. Because that right there, for if you want an investigator to come out, that gets us excited. I mean, we love hearing your story. I am always intrigued to come out to check it out. I will spend time just to see what's going on. You took the time because you think there's something going on. I mean, to me, that's awesome. I feel privileged if you reach out to me. So I really think if you think something's going on, document it. Let's see what you can capture on your own. Cell phones are awesome. You can get cheap little $10 digital recorders on Amazon. Throw it on your nightstand and let it record overnight, or throw it in your kitchen and just let it record for 4 hours until the battery dies, and then play it back. That's part of being an investigator. It's reviewing evidence is not fun sometimes. You got to go through hours and hours of, digital recording and videos, and you got to keep a good sharp eye out and an ear out. And so that's what I would recommend doing, is if you can, document it. And then keep a log of events. In January, I had cupboards open, or I heard voices, or I heard footsteps, and then reach out to somebody, word of mouth. I mean, my reputation is word of mouth right now. I don't advertise. I'm not on, TikTok, or, I mean, I am, but I'm not putting out people's stories or investigations or anything like that. I always ask ahead of time, hey, if I want to go live, is that okay? If they say no, no problem. And then I never share it with anybody else except for the client if they want the evidence. So I really am just here to document and communicate with these entities and try and really break that realm of communication.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know when we moved into our home like 10 years ago, there was a lot of different things going on with like electrical units like just turning off, and I have to reset the breakers, and like lights turning off. And then it seemed like there was this like urinal that was out in the garage, and I was like, yeah, we should put the urinal back. It was just out there. And then I just always kind of had this feeling like there was an older male presence in the house. And I found out later that the wife's husband had passed away, and they were an older couple. And when we first moved out here, I did see her kind of around the house when we were like checking it out. But he was going out to the mail to get mail, and died in the yard. So I kind of told him, I was like, hey, you're okay to hang out here. Like, you're cool. Like, if you want to hang
Nice.
out. And it just kind of died down eventually. And I call him the ghost of the urinal because it kind of chilled out after we put the urinal back.
Yeah. I mean, my experience is not all, but majority of them, they're trying to get your attention. They want to try and communicate. So when you hear a scary bang or you hear something, it's for a reason. I'm not sure if they're always here trying to scare you. There are, asshole entities in life that become asshole entities in the afterlife, that want to fuck with people or hurt people,
Yeah.
There are occasions where it is not human, it could be something else. So like I said, I'm always open to that realm, but I'm not always going to jump to that realm. Like everything's evil, everything's going to be, out to get you. You know, it could be family members just hanging around or stuck or just saying hi. And once you acknowledge them, they'll move on. I've seen that. So it's really case by case. And for me, I'm generally here to help the people that reach out to me, because I think it's an honor. You're trusting me in your home. You're trusting me to figure out what's going on, you know? So, it's really great to work with people like that want to do the same and kind of have the same thoughts that I do.
That's awesome. And I've noticed too, like when I've had loved ones pass away, like in my family, like there's a lot of paranormal activity that will happen right after they go, but then it's like it kind of dissipates. And I had some weird stuff like where when my dad passed, he wasn't like really in our life a whole lot, but I talked to him a little bit here and there through Facebook. So tried to have a relationship with him later. So I got to know a little bit about him. Anyway, so he passed, and then my brother went to go collect his things down in Salem. And my brother texted me and he was like, "Hey, I can't like log into his phone. Do you have any guesses on like what a passcode would be?" And I had this like number pop to my head and I'm like 7777. So I text my brother and he texts me back, "That's it." And my brother loves to joke with me. So I
That's
was like,
so
"No way." And he goes, "No, that's it." But I felt that number like come to my head. And he goes, "I've tried birthdays, addresses, everything." And that was it, because we got the phone later and he's able to unlock it. But then that kind of dies down later, it seems like. Do you think they come back later again, or is it just kind of like after the impact of after they pass?
So the house I lived in Folsom was active. It was haunted, and before we moved up here, and when I moved in there about 6-7 years ago, it was not disclosed to me that people passed away in the house. And what it was the owner, now mother and father, lived in that house. The mother was an early riser. She got up at 5 a.m. and she was elderly, and she had a heart attack in the chair, and the husband found her an hour later. So the mother passed away in the living room and the husband found her. And I'm not making this up, it's documented. A year to the date that she passed away, he was on the back porch on a 3-step ladder and hanging a plant, and he fell off and broke his hip, hit his head on the concrete, and died a day after his wife died a year later. He was found 3 days later by the neighbor across the street, who still lives there to this day. And because the daughter, who lived in LA, called up and said, "I haven't heard from my dad. Can you please go check on him?" And she walked around the side of the house to the back, and she found him dead on the back patio. And so when I moved in, none of this was disclosed to me at all. And it was just my son and I living there. And I would hear thumps in the hallway, like heavy thumps, like thump, thump, thump. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And we don't have detached walls. It's a house. And so I just, out of the blues, just pulled out my cell phone and just started recording the hallway. And I captured these orbs, these lights that zip left, right, left, right, left, right. And I capture them throughout, I don't know, throughout 2 weeks. I capture it 3 or 4 times. So I finally call the owner up, and they admit finally that somebody passed away. Yeah, it was the mom and dad. They both passed away. I brought Jackie, my medium, over, and she confirmed that, yes, they come to visit because this was their forever home, and they have passed on. They've moved on, but they love seeing the dogs. I had a dog at the time, and they came around to see because they loved the dog, Snuggles, my dog. And it brought them joy, from what I was told. So I
Wow.
believe that even if you transition to whatever state you believe we go to next, at some point, maybe you do have ability to come and visit, whatever it be, whether it be an orb or whether it be invisible, I don't know. I don't know. That's why I love to investigate. I love to document. I don't know.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love those like synchronicity events. Those are definitely my favorite, where there's some kind of connection and you kind of have those aha moments later.
Yeah.
And
Well, I just
yeah.
flat out, I told him when I called him up, I said, "Hey, has somebody passed away in the house? Because I'm picking up on at least two spirits." And she's like, "Oh my God. Yes, my husband's mother and father passed away a year apart from each other 8 years ago." I went, "Okay."
Wow.
And so I got their names, Bob and Bonnie. I call them BB. And we communicated with them, and I have no problem. And I was doing painting in the house. I was doing a lot of I was like painting the cabinets and painting the walls, doing a lot of yard work. So I was doing a lot of structural changes. And I think the husband, who was very hands-on, he worked at Mather Air Force Base. He was an engineer, mechanical engineer. And so he did a lot of work on the house. And I think maybe he was getting a little pissed off with another guy doing the work around the house, and he was banging on the wall. So, but I let him know my intent, and that I talked to his son, and I mentioned his son by name, and it subsided, but until I moved out, the house was active. But my son and I, it didn't bother us. It wasn't something that we just knew it was active, but they weren't like opening cupboards and slamming walls again. It was an occasional thump, and then maybe a flash of light, an orb or something. Really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and something I've always wondered since I was younger, like with people passing, I think the first experience I had with my grandma when she passed, and we weren't like super close, so that was kind of the weird thing. I had a dream about her, and she's sitting at a table, and she's just like looking at me. And usually when I've had dreams of past ones, it's always like kind of mind speak. They're never talking with their lips. And she had this like, I think I've told you about this story, like a white, like glowing light behind her head, like a tunnel behind her. And I in the dream I was like, grandma, like, where'd you go? What's it like? What's it like? And I just felt her this overwhelming like energy wall of her saying, "You're not ready to know yet." And I just always wonder, like, still, like, what's it like on the other side? Obviously, like, we're not ready to be there, but what do you think the other side is like? Like the paranormal side, the
Well,
where they all live.
so a lot of my investigations is based on kind of like 7th, 8th grade science class. We're made up of energy. Energy just can't dissipate. Energy has to go somewhere. Our body, our mind, our soul, or whatever's in us, that's energy. That's got to go somewhere when we die. Where is it going? I don't know. How is it that I can communicate, or we can communicate with things that have no bodies, but we hear a voice clear as day on this recorder when nobody's talking in the room? I don't know. It's taking the heat molecules in the air. It's taking the energy to manifest itself. So I'm on the science realm of energy has to go somewhere. I've talked to a lot of people that believe that anything that's on this realm, that's walking around us that we can't see, is a demon. They believe that paranormal investigating is evil because you're provoking spirits, or you're provoking, the devil's demons or something. I'm open to that. I listen to them. However, the only part I disagree with is that every single thing that's walking around here that we can't see is a demon. I don't agree with that at all. I just can't. Over 10 years, there's too much that I've seen that's good, that's still around us that we can't see. So I can't get on. That's the one thing I really can't get on the ship with, is that if you have that belief, which I don't knock at all, that's your belief that you ascend to heaven, and that's where your spirit's supposed to stay, is up in heaven, or you ascend to hell, and that's where your spirit's supposed to stay. A lot of people that I've talked to in the past that don't agree with paranormal activity believe in that whole, God casted Satan out, and everybody that he took with him was his demons and followers, and he told them to roam the earth, and that's who you're talking to. Those voices is a demon. That's not your mom you hear. That's a demon mimicking your mom, So I just can't get on board with that way of thinking, just because my personal experience has been, I've seen too much good that's out there that's not evil. So
Yeah, I feel that way too. I know growing up, I had an uncle that was very like, stay away from, mediums and psychics and that. And I'm thinking
Mhm.
all as a kid, I'm like, but I have these, abilities. And my mom even did. And she always told us as kids, you guys have these abilities. And so me and him definitely didn't see eye to eye on that. And I always thought after he passed, I could just kind of feel him saying like, oh, you always knew. Or I was wrong. But I could be wrong, but that was just a feeling I got from him because he just never really branched out of his feelings about things, but they were never my feelings. And so I've still struggled, going on as an adult, just trying to find my own feelings like what you have, and without having somebody else say, oh no, it's this way or that way.
Yeah. And it's a hard path to walk because we really don't know. And
Right.
that's what's so, to me, that's what's so fascinating and so fun is getting a little bit closer. I mean, I don't think we're ever meant to really know. And I mean, having somebody, my mother, have a near death experience, and her story she shared with me, it was,
Oh wow.
yeah, it's an emotional thing. And, there's just too much that's unexplained that it, you just can't help ask questions. You just can't be too narrow minded, in my opinion. You just can't. You got to keep an open mind with that realm.
No, I agree. And I don't know if you have these thoughts ever, but just kind of how you're being guided in life sometimes, just different things that you're doing or choices you're making. If sometimes you have guides out there just kind of watching over you, or if you think everything's just happen chance. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know if we have like a predetermined path or set path that we go down. Or if, I mean, we're getting really deep now into the realms of belief, but I
Yeah.
I mean, I think a destiny path and choice that is made at one point, or this path in this moment right now, is a choice that can impact a path down this avenue. It's I don't know if it's predetermined or not. I can't say yes or no, because I mean, I never saw myself when I was in California getting ordained to marry people, and I just performed my first wedding this weekend. So I
That's
mean, that was not on the cards for Erik for 2026, so it was not something I've ever was in my realm. But I had some close neighbor friends of mine asked me to marry them, and I got my license. And then out of the blue, someone on Facebook needed to get married, and I married them. I did my first
so
wedding.
exciting.
So I just know, it's like, was that something predetermined for me to go path on? I mean, I never thought I'd be on the path to be a Freemason either. And I'm on my first degree, and I'm excited for that. Never in
That's
my
awesome.
million years would I've ever guessed I'd be on this path either, at all. So um, I
That's
don't,
awesome.
yeah, I don't think there's something that's predetermined. I think there's an end game for sure for each person individually. I just don't know if it's completely mapped out yet.
Well, you seem like a really exciting person. I mean, I know you are. I know you're actually one of my friends, so that's a funny thing. But like, yeah,
Cut
I
my
feel like
hair.
I know. I know you. You're awesome. And yeah, I don't know. It's just I like hearing your stories because you always got something going where you're going next or where you've been, and it's really cool to see creative people like you out in the world. Great energy.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'll have another story after my investigation on Thursday for you. So
Awesome. Yeah,
yeah.
that's exciting. Well, yeah, was there anything else that you wanted to ask me or you want to talk about or
No, I think we covered a lot. I thank you so much for
yeah,
on. I had a blast. It's been really fun talking about this stuff. I could talk for hours about it, but thank you
awesome.
so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then I do have your email in the description. So if anyone wants to actually get a hold of Erik and have an investigation, how far out you already kind of answered that question, how far out you would travel for anyone? Just kind of
Yeah,
depends.
I mean, it depends on the case and depends what's going on. And, I also have a personal life with my lovely wife that, I have to accommodate for as well. So,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
this is a passion and a hobby of mine. So, I would love to hear from you guys if you got some interesting locations. And, actually, I want to put out real quick too, is that working with Parasense 2.0, we're looking for locations, and I'm working with the producers and the directors of trying to find locations. So we are currently filming right now, and we're looking for locations. So if there's a location that you know of, documentation of being touched or scratched or poltergeist activity, definitely get a hold of me. It may be in the next film for Parasense 2.0.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, yeah, and I look forward to that. I definitely need to watch it. And then and you were in the first one, or you were
So
in
the first one I was not in at all. I'm in
Okay.
2.0 that is currently being filmed right now. I believe they have 3 locations. They've also were in talks with possibly making this a episode series with a network. So the first one was picked up by Amazon. We're hoping for it to be picked up again once the second one's done filming. When that's going to be, I don't know. I know they have about 2 or 3 locations under their belt right now, and we want to get a few more before we wrap up. Yeah, let me know if you guys got locations. We might be out there to do a filming.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Eric, for being on the show. I really appreciate you. And yeah, great guest.
Fun. Thank you.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you again for watching the show, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thanks.